Under normal circumstances, there are only two criteria for judging a veteran 8 rank. One is that the background of its own small universe needs to reach a certain level. Generally, after being promoted to the 8th rank, for at least 2,000 years, they are not considered the old 8th rank. In 2,000 years, there is enough for an 8 rank to stabilize his own foundation and give full play to the strength that the 8 rank open heaven should have. And another point is the experience of fighting with the enemy. No matter how strong the background is, if you don't have the experience of fighting with the enemy, you will eventually be at a loss when fighting, and it will be difficult to exert all your strength. The 8th ranks of the human race on the battlefield of Mo, except for a few who have just been promoted, most of them are old 8th ranks. After they are promoted to the 8th rank, they all fight and practice with the Mo race and polish their strength in the battle. Controlled, so there is no such thing as a situation where you have no power but can't play. Yang Kai is an exception. He was promoted to the 8th rank in the River of Time, and then he practiced for a full 2,000 years before breaking out. After the sea, the celestial phenomenon immediately fought against the Sheep's Head King and killed him, but in that battle, there was some difference in strength between each other, and Yang Kai had to do his best, even one after another. After stimulating the soul stabbing 4 times, he was unconscious, but he didn't know the opponent. After waking up, he found himself holding the head of the Lord of Sheep's Head. This time is different. Territory Master level Mo clan powerhouse, for him, is not strong or weak, just right, it can be used as his sharpening stone. After beheading 2 domain masters one after another, he did not rush to kill the 3rd domain master. Instead, he used the power of the remaining domain master to polish his familiarity with his surge. Especially those who absorb and refine the power of many Dao realms in the sea and celestial phenomena, polishing them in the fierce battle can make them more rounded and more handy. Because of this, the Tusk domain master felt that the power that Yang Kai displayed was getting stronger and stronger, because Yang Kai now controls too many Dao realms, so many that he can't fully exert these powers. He desperately needs a battle like this. That's why I chose to fight for the injury and kill the 2 domain owners quickly. After another half day, the Tusk domain lord felt desperate. In this battle, from the beginning of the battle, to the downwind, he has stepped into the abyss step by step. Full of bitterness. The current situation of the battle has been reversed. Yang Kai's offensive is not hurried, and he is still polishing his own strength, but the Tusk domain master is desperately fighting. He knows in his heart that the longer the delay, the stronger the enemy. A certain limit is when he gives orders. However, fighting this kind of thing is sometimes not enough to fight hard. After another half a day, the aura of the Tusk domain lord is already weakened, and the wounds on his body are densely packed, and the ink blood and ink power escape from the wounds, and his aura has almost fallen under the domain master. At this moment, he was very envious of his 2 companions, at least dead simply. He was cut with a blunt knife and suffered physical and mental torture. Knowing that he is bound to die, the Lord of Fang's heart is ruthless, completely abandoning the defense, and brazenly rushing towards Yang Kai. After more than 10 breaths, a spear pierced his eye sockets, and many Dao realms burst out, mixing his head into a paste, and the hideous face of the Tusk domain lord gradually calmed down, quite a kind of relief. Feeling, the color in the eyes dimmed quickly. Yang Kai draws a gun, frowning slightly, he is somewhat dissatisfied with his current strength. Leaving aside the fight against the Lord of Sheep's Head, he completely lost consciousness at the end of the battle, and only his body was holding the idea of killing the enemy. In a battle with these 3 domain masters, Yang Kai realized his shortcomings. At the 7th stage realm, he can crush at the same level, no matter how powerful the Lord, he is almost like a child in front of him, and he has no power to fight back. However, now that it has reached the 8th rank, it is difficult to show the glory of the 7th rank. In order to quickly kill the charming domain master and the bird claw domain master, he paid a lot of money. In the end, the tusk domain master, not to mention, although there is his own reason for polishing his power, it took so long to get it. The beheading is still somewhat unsatisfactory. According to the information discovered during the expedition, these 3 Mo tribe domain masters can all be regarded as innate domain masters. They were directly bred from the monarch level ink nest, and are stronger than the general Mo tribe domain masters promoted through cultivation. All belong to the level of. This is already the strongest strength of the Mo clan domain master. In other words, he can be said to be invincible at the same level today, but he is far from crushed. However, after thinking about it, I only practiced for 2000 years after being promoted to the 8th rank, and the background of Xiaoqiankan has not yet increased to the limit. When he grows to the peak of the 8th rank, it should be no problem to crush the same rank. In addition, he also noticed his biggest problem now. There are too many Dao realms to control. In order to get out of the sea and celestial phenomena, he had to absorb the undercurrents and enhance his attainments on these avenues. He has collected and refined too many undercurrents, has made achievements on different roads, controlled many realms, and can use many methods when facing the enemy. This is a good thing. However, Yang Kai found that it was difficult for him to coordinate these many realms. Simply put, the realms he controlled were too many and too complicated, and when he used it, there would often be mutual restraint. Yang Kai had a faint feeling that if he could bring these many Dao realms into one, his strength would surely undergo earth-shaking changes. However, he can only think about this kind of thing. Now in many Dao realms, he does have some accomplishments, but compared to his major in space, time, and even gun skills, they are far different. Without thoroughly comprehending the true realm of these Dao realms, before the mystery, it was not easy to come together. The way of time and space that he majored in was just showing signs of unity. Shaking his head, dispelling the many distracting thoughts in his heart, Yang Kai turned his head and looked in one direction. After a moment of silence, he said, "Come out." Covered by the messy battlefield over there, silhouettes walked out, looking at him with complicated and shocked expressions. Just now they saw that a powerful innate domain lord was tortured to death, which gave them a big shock. "Dian Yang Kai, I have seen you all." Yang Kai gave a salute. He had noticed that when he was fighting the Tusk Domain Lord before, there were people peeping nearby. The strength of the visitors was not too strong and the number of people was not large. It should be attracted by the movement of the fighting here. Otherwise it would be impossible for him to come and go without notice. It's just that the visitor has been hiding nearby, and there is no plan to show up, and Yang Kai can't distinguish the enemy from the enemy. It wasn't until this moment that it was confirmed that these people are human race. It's Brother Yang. The 7th rank human race in the middle was overjoyed when he heard Yang Kai's self-reported status. They were still a little worried about whether this 8th rank Kaishan that killed the Mo clan domain lord would be eroded by the power of Mo. After all, his whole body was also lingering in ink. Because of this concern, even if Yang Kai killed Fang Fang Lord, they did not take the initiative to show up. Now, this worry disappeared. Without him, Yang Kai's name is widely circulated among the major passes. All martial artists know that the light of purification is brought by him, and he is not afraid of the erosion of the power of ink. Anyone can be inked, but Yang Kai cannot. Several other people also showed joy, and hurriedly moved closer to Yang Kai. After seeing Yang Kai's face, they finally determined his identity. Yang Kai also felt that the speaker was familiar, so he fixed his eyes and said hesitatingly, "You are the brother who guards the teleportation formation." He has been to and from Kingxiu Pass several times, and he has naturally seen the 7 ranks guarding the teleportation formation, and this one is one of them. The 7th rank felt a little bit of joy and weeping, and choked. Sun Mao has seen senior brother Yang. Yang Kai glanced across the crowd, his expression dimmed. King Sugwen, only a few of you. Sun Mao settled his turbulent mind and replied, there are still some brothers who are hiding outside. We have noticed the movement of fighting here, and come to investigate the situation. About how many people are there? Yang Kai asked. Sun Mao said quietly, less than 1,000 people. Yang Kai's face trembled and twitched slightly, his heart twisted like a knife. As a normal character pass, Kingxiu Pass's permanent force should be around 30,000, which is similar to the original Biluo Pass. The Mo King city in the Kingxiu War Zone was conquered, and there should be some losses. However, at least during the expedition, 20,000 troops. With 20,000 troops, now there are only less than 1,000 people left. How tragic, the ancestor died in battle. Senior brother Yang, are there still Mo people in the Guan? Sun Mao asked again. Yang Kai shook his head and said, I haven't investigated it carefully, but I don't want to. The 3 domain masters hiding here have all been killed, and if there is a Mo clan, they must have already appeared. Sun Mao suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Now Huang Zhongzhen and the fellow brothers are saved. Yang Kai frowned and said, what do you mean? Sun Mao explained, Zhongzhen Huang and some of his brothers are now suffering from the erosion of the ink power, and they have run out of the ink expelling pills. Although they have been suppressing the ink power, they would be difficult to disperse without the ink expelling pills and the light of purification. Earlier, the leader of Haizong town came over and wanted to the ink destroyer left here, but unfortunately there was no news as soon as he left. It was probably an accident. Many of the thousands of remnants gathered were eroded by Mo's power. Over the years, Mo's power had been suppressed in the body. Almost every once in a while, some people could not bear it and died of their own lives. In the battle 200 years ago, not only was King Sugwen shattered, but also the human supplies were almost cut off, and even the expelling Mo pill and evil-breaking god spear were all consumed. Although there are alchemists, without the materials, it is simply difficult to refine spirit pills. The strength of Huangxiang's main town is as high as rank 8. The only thing that can save them now is the ink destroyer left in the pass. The light of purification may still be sealed in the ink destroyer, and they can survive only by retaking the ink destroyer.